Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still working on increasing the supply of wheat and expanding the university system. We're producing 75 innovation now. Ooh, more states in Italy are trying to unify. Our maximum tech output is 110, close to 111, really. That's kind of completely dependent on our literacy rate, which is steadily climbing. We do have the ability to get a little bit more education investment. I will do that eventually. Cash flow is all right. We might be able to improve things by increasing the iron supply, because iron is a little bit expensive right now. I am going to rely on the private sector to do that for a little bit, just as long as because they're currently a little bit, they've got plenty of capacity. In fact, there's a lot of cash in the investment pool that I could really effectively spend more of. But there's also some aggression we could get up to a ways away as well. I was thinking about taking a treaty port in China. I think Fujian would be a good target. Now, can I win an invasion against China's massive army is the question. I think the answer might be yes, but I would need a naval expansion and another commander. Let's see. You have the naval commander trait. That's pretty good. You're also a protectionist, and we're all about protectionism right now. And a significantly larger Spanish expeditionary force. So that's kind of a not anytime soon thing. On the other hand, I could also take a treaty port in Japan. So taking a treaty port in Japan would potentially open a lot of options, now that Japan has been forced to open up by the United States and they're at free trade. So, another heat wave. I don't love these heat waves. So, let's make some preparations for that. We have an agitator, and I'll take a look at that in a second. Opposition members put forth demands. More pragmatically inclined members of the industrialists, currently opposed to the passing of protectionism, have offered to change their stance, were they to be offered certain political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the rural folk, however. Rural folk are quite happy right now, so I might be able to sacrifice it. Compromise makes a good umbrella, but a poor roof. It is a temporary expedient, often wise in party politics, almost sure to be unwise in statesmanship. Our options are acquiesce to their demands, the bill must pass. Increased enactment chance, rural folk upset. Compromise is a tool of the weak. Slightly reduced enactment chance, rural folk happy, reduced enactment time. Or a prime opportunity to break the bill from deadlock, rural folk furious. One entire phase, increased enactment time later. I'm going to acquiesce to their demands. That's just sensible. We have a liberal movement now, which means our agitator is probably a liberal. Francesc P. E. Margal, a Catalan radical, aligned with the petite bourgeoisie. Oh. So what you're saying is, that's actually good. He would help us get to universal suffrage, which I'm inclined to do. So, in preparation for that, I'm going to finish out protectionism, obviously. So let's get the armada increasing in size. I think once again we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for capital ships, we're going to go 1, 2. And that should be enough. And then after that, we'll increase the size of the expeditionary force. 1, 2, 3. Bring the infantry up to 15. Actually, no. I don't need to do that. No, I do need to do that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Infantry up to 15. And then I think all the rest might... No, we'll do a 15, 10, 5 pattern. That should be... Yeah, that should be good. So we are going to throw those all at the top of the queue because they're going to build really, really fast because they're military buildings. And that should be just fine. And that'll give us the ability to go after whoever we wish in Asia. Maybe not China, but I think going after Japan will be viable. Because Japan's got a big market, and we just need to saturate it with cheap Spanish goods. That's a reasonable thing to want to have, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll go after China's market instead, because China's market's all kind of buck wild. Gosh, there's a lot of pop consumption of opium here. We can make a lot of money supplying clothes and paper to China. Make a lot of money doing the same to Japan, though. But the government's unacceptable. I don't care. We're doing protectionism. Cash flow is rock solid, but I think this is kind of a ghost number. I don't think this number is actually impacting. I think it's just pretending. Alright, so once that's done... Gosh, do I have Power of the Purse enabled for these naval bases? I don't. Do I not have Power of the Purse? Oh boy! Oh, it's not great! That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm also, in preparation for a little bit more adventurism, I'm going to increase the rations for the armed forces, and I'm going to go to the extra supplies method. Now that I've got a motor industry, I'm also going to activate rail transport. That is going to make these armies significantly more expensive, but that's okay. It's okay. It'll be completely viable and reasonable. Right, barracks are getting built. Very good. That should not take too long at all. So, Japan does have investment rights in the United States. So we'll go after them. Crooked connections. Frustrated with the lengthy process surrounding protectionism, Jorge Martinez Campos of the rural folk has approached us with an offer to expedite the process, utilizing his personal connections within the state apparatus. A few words in the right ears are all I'm asking for. Everything within the bounds of the law, of course, although I can't guarantee that our opponents in this matter will view such actions with much glee. Granted permission, time is of the essence. Industrialists a little bit salty, reduce enactment time, or no, we do this by the book or not at all, increase enactment time. I could actually let the industrialists get mad a little bit, so I'm going to give him permission. They're still happy plus 14, so that'll be just fine. Obviously, this is reducing our cash flow because we're increasing the number of units in the army. But, you know, that's how it goes. Got a lot more influence to play with, so we can afford to be a little bit more aggressive abroad. Brunei is now finally going down in Liberty Desire. And so is Johor. And so is Cuba? Yes. Beautiful. Alright. So they finally given up being mad about those annexations. Alright. We'll wait a little bit longer. We'll wait a few more weeks, and then we'll go after Japan. And if going after Japan works, we might go after China as well. Maybe I'll throw a war reparations war goal on there. Just for funsies. Where do I want a treaty port in Japan? I think Kanto province. No. Chubu province. Chubu province puts me kind of right in the middle of the country. I think that's the smartest place to be. Faith knows no borders. The Catholic Church was to strengthen our ties with Portugal through our shared faith. He stopped for a moment, wiping his brow, when he noticed the Portuguese farmhand on the adjacent field seemed to be knelt down in the furrow. Confused, he peered over, finally noticed that the man was deep in prayer. He should have recognized it, but it had never crossed his mind what they might have in common. A few hard years, and a faith that things would get better. Despite differences, we must cherish our shared values, improve relations, stronger and happier Catholic Church, or we're Spanish first, Catholic second, happier intelligentsia. I'm going to go with the first one. Strengthening the Catholic Church has never been a bad plan for any Spanish leader. Don't look it up. Alright. Japan. I can only conquer. That's curious. I can do a treaty port, but only in Kanto, Kyushu, or the Ryukyus. So we'll put it in Kanto, because Kyushu is way off over here. It's a lot of infamy, but no one's going to step in to help them. Beautiful. Alright, so... Japan still has basically no fleet to speak of. They have no fleet to speak of. Alright, so we'll mobilize... Actually... I'm still going to mobilize all my main forces. And I'm going to station them all in the Philippines. And I'm going to grab the fleet. And I'm going to put them over here. And I could sway Britain, theoretically, but I don't think I need their help. We'll add a war goal. We'll add a war reparations war goal. I can add this to primary just for maneuvers. That's an interesting notion. I don't think they're going to give up now. No, I'm not going to liberate. Regime change would... Wow, that's actually pretty low infamy for a regime change. I could turn... If I were a different type of country, that would be extremely tempting. Obviously, I could conquer some territory. If I conquered the Ryukyus... Population here... Oh, the population here is Japanese. Alright. No, that's not useful. That is not useful. I'm gonna get my treaty port, and I'm gonna love it. All my armies are on their way. Obviously, cash flow is properly borked now because our army's huge. What's our maximum reserve limit at this stage? It's 2.9. It's still not very much. How's the market doing? We're short on motors, but let's put the kibosh on this import route so that our motor industries can produce more. Where am I producing those motors? Let me ask myself that. Navarra. We'll produce more. In fact, we'll produce more as fast as we can. The art of doing nothing. Though previously opposing the protectionism laws, Santiago Suedrada, I think that's Suedrada. Santiago Suedrada has considered the rural folks' political position and instead offers support. While speaking with constituents on matters with law, we must first master the art of appearing to do nothing. While you do everything behind whispers and masked men, indubitably. Welcome their support. Stronger rural folk. Santiago Suedrada, stronger his faction, which is the Catholic Church. And Spain gets extra enactment chance. Or keep a sharp eye, they're up to something. He loses popularity and they get less enactment chance. I'm going to go with the first one. I think that's completely fine and reasonable. And we're gonna need these engines to begin with. Let me actually take a look and make sure that all of my states are good on infrastructure, because I have not been paying close attention to that. Looks like we're all just fine. Let's go to wooden passenger carriages. That's gonna make those railways a lot more productive. Affordable. I mean, it is going to make them more affordable, but more productive is the thing that matters in this situation. All right. Anything? Yeah, engines shortage, stockpiling gold. Yeah, that's fine. It is what it is. That's all that's going to happen. We have diplomatic ties with Ecuador. I'm not currently in the process of seizing back my colonial territories. I think that's just kind of silly. 2 arms. All right. Let's land. Kanto is where the ship. All right. Sometimes you just do not remember. Let's get this invasion going. And we'll see how that invasion goes. We've got skirmish infantry, we've got mobile artillery and lancers. I think we can make it happen. Alright, beautiful. Mechanized workshops. That means The big one is more efficient paper mills. Or no, it isn't. Never mind. The big one is more efficient furniture manufactories and textile mills. Boom. Boom, and I can't emphasize this enough. Shakalaka. I am winning. Alright, beautiful. So that is going to make things much, much easier. And I'll move in my other two armies as follow-on forces once we've successfully landed. If we can successfully land and this isn't a fluke. But usually it isn't. Usually it is not. See how much landing progress we get once the enemy flees in this battle. Come on. Beautiful. 26%. Alright, so we need to win 3 more battles, which shouldn't be too difficult. I'll wait for our morale to... Or no, that's our manpower. Morale's the green bar? I'm not sure. So manpower's a little low, so we'll see if we can continue to win battles here. Yes, it does look like we are continuing to win. That's very good. A lot of bait success. Beautiful. That puts us at 37%. How's the market? We got a lot of nasty trade routes. I don't need to be importing British grain. I don't need to be importing Chinese porcelain. I don't need to be importing French furniture. I don't need to be importing... I certainly don't need to be importing Bhutanese meat. I do kind of need this artillery. Although, we've got an artillery foundry in the country now, so I might not need too much of it. Yeah, I can probably live without these artillery import routes. Although the one from Austria is truly extremely productive. So we'll leave that one. But eventually I want to stand on my own 2 feet for munitions. So we'll look at how that goes. Wow, look at that. Oh my gosh, we're winning when they've got a huge numerical advantage. That's very good. They've done a good solid amount of damage to our manpower here, but if we can win one more battle, we'll be able to bring in the rest of our armies, and then it'll be a good solid fight. Obviously the amount of manpower damage we've taken is improving our cash flow a little bit, which, you know, not exactly what you want to hear about the commanders. From the commanders, military wages are down on account of the number of guys who have died in the war. Alright, we're still... There's another battle. Beautiful. Alright, so that's going to be a success. I'll just hover over the pause button here to make sure that we get our other armies moving in here as fast as possible, because that'll be what we need. So, go ahead and check those in. I don't have multiple enemies here, so I don't need to worry about any kind of chicanery happening with who gets what or all that stuff. Alright, it's going to take a month for our units to arrive in here, but hopefully that'll be alright. Enemy is arriving at the front. Captain on the bridge. Alright. We got 2 battles kicked off. Our force comparison is not going great. So, I'm actually going to put these fellas on defense for the time being while we bring in the rest of our troops. Because if we can stay on defense and not take too many casualties, we can experience a lot of success in the war place. Alright, beautiful. So, as these units arrive here, discord within the petite bourgeoisie. An influential faction within the petite bourgeoisie has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of protectionism. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass, 15% enactment chance, slightly weaker petite bourgeoisie, or the rural folk extend an open hand to these mavericks. Significantly weaker petite bourgeoisie, but stronger rural folk, but less enactment chance. I'm going to go with the second one. That might be unwise, given that I've got a short-term policy of increasing the strength of my given that I've got a medium-term policy of going for increased franchise, but that's okay. Alright, crystal glass. That's very good. That lets us output more glass, which will not make these things more productive, these glassworks, but it will in the long term. Can we export some of this extra glass since we got so much glass? We can. Some to Britain, some to Russia, some to Austria. Well, actually, my urban centers are already using as much glass as they can use. I could go to public trams. Yeah, we'll go to public trams. And we'll go to gas streetlights as well. That's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be good. Got a little bit of bureaucracy to play with, so I could increase education, and I think I'm going to do that. Looks like we are advancing once again here on account of I didn't put my other forces on defense, so we'll put these units back on attack. I'm so smart. An absent mind. There have been reports that Pedro Colon, leader of the Catholic Church, not attending meetings or fulfilling his obligations. We can no longer ignore his absence. He is a theocrat. Do theocrats dislike democracy? They do not. Colon barely even responds when we call his name. A blank stare, and he almost doesn't blink. Let's go for a walk, we'd tell him, and he nods in silence. And in silence, we walk. A doctor needs to see him. He loses a psychological affliction. Okay, that's good. Or he can get the help he needs in an asylum. He dies. A doctor should see him. He's fine. It'll be fine. Alright, so this war looks basically as good as won. Their acceptance is going to be significantly improved as they go down in war support, and that should be completely viable right now. Give me the stuff. Money, 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 money. Alright, so what we'll do now, one moment. What we'll do now is we'll export just as much to the Japanese market as we can. So, what do they want? What's cheap? What's expensive? They've got a lot of sugar available. All right, interesting. They need wood, tools, iron, furniture of both types. So we'll start there. Wood, tools, iron, luxury furniture, and furniture. And then I'm sure they need clothes. Yep. Do they need luxury clothes? No. No, they do not. Alright, what else? What else, what else, what else? Alright, that's all the good stuff. They need paper. They need paper. And we're in a position to produce a lot of paper. Alright. That's nice. That's very good. So from here, I'm going to throw in a little bit more, one more government admin, just to make sure that my bureaucracy stays good. The university expansion has actually been very, very manageable, which I'm feeling pretty rock solid about. I can absolutely produce more porcelain with these glassworks. Can I not? I cannot. But I will be able to soon. Once I've gotten bone china, which will be available from chemical bleaching, which is very close by. Alright, beautiful. Come on, give me at least one success on enacting protectionism before the end of the episode. Come on, game. Come on, Victoria 3, you can do it. The rural folk are depending on you, Victoria 3. They're so dependent. They're doing it. They don't want my government. Right. Well, debate success. So close and yet so far. Where does that put us in tech? 93. How many more universities? We got 8 more universities. That's another 24. Yes, that's definitely going to get us where we want to be. And give us a little bit of extra overflow into tech spread besides, which will be nice. Let's take a quick look at our subjects. Subjects are doing well. Alright, beautiful. Cuba is almost down to medium liberty desire, and that will mean everything will be chill. And if everything holds as it's going, then once Johor is below into low Liberty Desire, we can go ahead and turn them into a proper subject type. So, Perak is a good target. They've got a smattering of defensive pacts, but most importantly, an alliance with Portugal. And, you know, taking a little bit of Portugal would prove to be very useful. So, anyone else going to stand with them? It looks like Portugal might not. More importantly, nobody I'm actually worried about. So let's get going here. I'm going to mobilize just... I think I'll hardly have any need for too much to conquer this territory. Yeah, they're going to have 4 battalions. Those battalions are going to be irregulars. So I'm just going to mobilize my smallest force. And we'll station them in a sec. And we'll put our navy here as well. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to grab all the goods that I'm exporting to Japan and set them to encourage exports. So let me see. Clothes, yep. Wood. Paper. Luxury. Whatevers. Furniture. Tools. It's just good to have an export economy in this game. And let me see. Iron. If that increases the price of things in Spain, then so be it. That will simply be the way of things. I notice grain is pretty expensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of the of our agricultural sectors. Basically wherever they're most productive. So Galicia, Toledo, Navarra, Catalonia. And that'll be nice. That'll also have a byproduct of strengthening the rural folk, which is very, very good. Is Portugal going to step in here? It looks like they're not, which is fine. I definitely wasn't just trying to get Portugal. I wanted to get a little bit of territory to feed to Johor, so that we can continue to reduce their autonomy by feeding them territory and just generally doing right by them. Insufficient construction for the investment pool. Well, gosh darn it, investment pool. Yeah, forced my hand. Hey, we're finally in consideration. Portugal sides with Perak. Wonderful. That's exactly what I wanted. Time to add some war goals. Is Portugal independent? I guess they are. Beautiful. All right. Conquer, conquer, conquer. I grab Estremadura, Alentejo, and Beira. That would be very extreme. That would be very extreme. That would be so dumb. Extremely dumb. We'll hit that button, and we'll see what that does to everyone's desire to participate in this war. France is still no. Oh, escalation's continuing. I thought it would be getting too long. Alright. If I hit Estremadura... how does it look? Now I'm infamous. France is still saying no. Heck it. I'm doing it. Iberia united. Oh boy, this is gonna. Oh, I saw that French flag and I got scared. I'm gonna actually hold the Coastal Defense Force for now. I can't add any of these to primary now, so if Perak backs down, it'll be a problem. But I don't think they're gonna. So I think we're gonna do what we want to do here, and we're going to unite Iberia, and it's gonna be buck wild, but you know we'll see. We'll make it happen. All right. First things first. Let's get the invasion of Perak going. And that's a completely reasonable line to take here. And how is the war in Portugal going? It's going. It's going. And we got a success going on over here as well. Still having a little bit of a hard time with Org and the Coastal Defense Force, but it's fine. We don't need to bring them in. Force comparison here in Portugal is really, really solid. So really the naval invasion in Null State, how dare they invade Null State? Alright, so now we'll hit Cambodia. We'll hit them hard, and we'll hit them fast. And that'll just be so that we can get Cambodia out of the war in case they end up with troops over here, because it looks like they are sending some troops. Not troops that I'm actually worried about, but, you know, troops. So, you know, with Cambodia out of the war, that'll make things a lot easier, and then we can get the Interior Defense Force back to Iberia to deal with Portugal. And then once Portugal is conquered, life will be good. Well, now I've completely goofed myself on admin, so let's go ahead and increase the size of the government. We shouldn't need too much more. But at the same time, I don't want to be... I want to acknowledge that I need more, because I'm going to need to incorporate those Portuguese states. That's going to be the thing that I'm going to be spending a lot of bureaucracy on once we do this. Oh, this is so good! I successfully sidewayed around Britain to grab Portugal. Feeling very pleased with myself about that. Woof! Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding protectionism, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the rural folk, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Options are protectionism will be on everyone's lips now, 10% enactment success chance. This sure puts the rural folk in a good light, 10% interest group attraction, or let us ensure the play gets a wider international audience. I'm going to go with the third one, because 20 prestige is nothing to sneeze at. Alright. And we've nearly got Portugal fully occupied. This is rock solid. I'm feeling pretty good. We'll grab the Coastal Defense Force and we'll put them on the front just to increase this force comparison here. Now, this number is not very good. I'm going to need to really relax my foreign aggression from here. But, you know, it's going to be good. The landowners demand the promotion of Brigadier General José de Artes, touting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath, but it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on Pagaza's face when the lieutenant general learned of his imminent ascension. The rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last, he would have his due. I'm going to say he's earned it because I want to keep them happy. I cannot afford to be in a situation where I'm antagonizing the landowners right now because I'm in the process of being very infamous, and you know how that can go. So, how's Portuguese war support? Portuguese war support is very low right now, and getting lower. They do not have war support protection, so let's queue in. I'm going to leave it be because Perak is... Alright, so there's that. Now, if I queue in all these Conquest War goals on Portugal proper, this should not be too much longer because they're mostly completely occupied. I think there are technically some small islands that are that they have that are not occupied by me, but once I've I don't actually think occupying those is a necessity, because I've got the mainland, and this is their incorporated territory, and that's kind of what matters. So it's going to be a few more weeks, and once the war gets done, I'll end the episode. But I wanted to kind of get to the end of this and see if my absolute hubris was going to pay off, and it looks like it has. So I'm feeling pretty full of myself. That is a successful war. Beautiful. So now, can I form Iberia? Or it's in diplomacy, right? No. Society? Journal? Nation formation. Iberia. Oh my gosh, I need all those islands. Unbelievable. Well, we'll see if they're easier to take when the time comes. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, I got the territory that I needed, that I wanted for a strong, for a stronger unified Iberia. So that's really the priority. Let me go ahead and reset production methods of these states, and that'll be just fine. All right. Excuse me? Sorry, let me just make sure I'm not having some kind of goof situation. Alright, very good. Alright, general training. Ports should be cargo ports. Urban centers, markets, squares, gas streetlights, and public trams. And that should be fine. Logging camps, sawmills, many and various over that. We should use fishing trawlers. And then finally, the last piece of housekeeping, I'm going to pass Spanish Malaya over to Johor. And then, can I decrease their autonomy right now? No, because I'm too infamous. And a lot of my subject states' liberty desires is going up on account of my infamy. This is a significant line item in this, so we'll need to wait. But time is on our side at this point. So, with that having all been done, and Iberia being basically unified, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.